Signed an outfield.
We are working through the process of potentially seeing if there's additional player or players out there that we might bring into camp. Again, always looking to be creative and add depth to the organization, but nothing to report as of yet.
Is a specific fourth outfielder something that you're looking for? You talked before about the versatility with the utility guys, but do you need a fourth designated outfielder?
We don't necessarily feel like we do, but there are some pretty good players still out there that may add depth, that may add a different dynamic to our club. The challenge we have is it's not like a player that we sign right now in this role would come in specifically to beat out one player. There's some within that player's control. There's a lot outside of that player's control, the makeup of our bench, the makeup of our roster, our health during spring training, left-handed, right-handed, versatile infield, outfield. So that has been a challenge as we've talked to different players about what opportunity we do have, and no, not something we were specifically looking for, but when you have a chance to add a player that might make you better, we want to make sure we take advantage of that.
If Jung Ho is unable to start the regular season, would you prefer to keep Jay Hay at second base and maybe find solutions, or fill-ins, whatever, for third, or would Jay Hay be part of that mix for third as well?
We've not talked with Josh directly about this. He's been more than willing to bounce all over the diamond. He did it last year, and obviously he did it extremely well 2 years ago. Really, we need to have that conversation with Josh first. Our anticipation is he'll be willing to do whatever we feel we need to do to put the best club on the field until Jung Ho is healthy and ready to go. And again, with the options we have internally, we have some alternatives at third. We have some alternatives at second, and Josh is going to be more than capable of playing either position.
How much will performance in camp dictate who might fill, whether it's second or third, if Jung Ho is on the opening day?
It ultimately will come down to how you define performance. If it's who has the highest batting average and slug and on base, probably not, because spring training performance can get very skewed by who's facing A-ball pitchers late in the game, who's facing a major leaguer just getting his pitches in. There's a lot more that we look at than outcomes. We're looking at the process, we're looking at their work from the day they show up into camp. So if you define performance as the entire package, then yes, performance will be a factor. If you define performance by their batting average and their statistics that show up in a box score, that won't be a driving factor for us.
Performance, but not statistics.
Performance and how they fit on the club, and I mean, we're looking to take the right 25 north and give Clint and our staff as many options to win a game as we can. And sometimes one player may fit a little bit better than another player fits in that versatility, in that ability to help in a given role off the bench, left-handed pinch hit, right-handed pinch hit, defensive replacement, the ability to give Clint multiple options as he looks to run a game late, or it may just be one key factor that player brings, and all of that will be a part of the process. And again, as we put this 25-man roster puzzle together.
What do you hope to achieve with I guess, tweaking of the delivery of Jeff Locke, and what is the reasoning for it?
Well, again, probably a better question for Jeff and for Ray, but as we've had conversations about consistency and about Jeff's command and his ability to command the ball to both sides of the plate, there were times that he felt the turn caused him to over-rotate and to lose his consistency, to lose the quality of the command that he's shown at different times. And sometimes by simplifying something, it allows a pitcher to repeat that delivery more frequently, more consistently.
Last year, your depth, you had a lot of guys who had major league experience, who had played some of them in starting roles. This year, it seems like you've got a wave of infield prospects, guys coming up from AAA who don't really have the experience, who are prospects, come with that risk. How do you feel about the experience level of your depth this year?
Yeah, and that's where Juan Diaz came into the mix. If Moroff or Gifton Gope or Alan Hansen aren't ready to start out of the gate and need time in AAA, and we had a need for an extra infielder because Cole Figueroa or Sean Rodriguez, or we have an injury somewhere, or we decide to go in a different direction, we do have good production. I mean, Cole Figueroa is a veteran player that's done some things at the minor league level. Jason Rogers is more first base, but we're going to see how the third base question gets answered here in spring training and perhaps over the course of the season. We don't have the names, we don't have the backs of the baseball cards that maybe we had a year ago, but we do like our young depth, and we like our guys that are on the verge or could or maybe even should be big leaguers at some point.
If got a chance to see Jaso today, the first organized setting things around the first there. I know it's been about 4 days, including minicamp, but what have you guys seen from him there thus far, and what in his past experience gave you the confidence he could play there?
Yeah, it's been a thought that we've had going on. I was trying to come up with the exact number of years. I think 4 or 5 years ago was the first time that we approached this thought of John Jaso as a first baseman for us somewhere down the road, and we chased him around a little bit and weren't able to get him, and then we're able to sign him as a free agent this offseason. So this wasn't something we stumbled upon this offseason. This is something we've targeted in the past, and actually it's been a lot more than 4 days. I mean, John's been down here frequently during the off season, working with Espo and through Kevin Young and through Nick Leyva. They've put a program together for him, and just the passion with which he gets after it, the hunger with which he gets after it. This guy wants to be a good first baseman, and he knows that there's a big upside for him if he can go out and prove that he can play first base here for the next couple of years. The catching, the hands are soft, he's tough. And again, most importantly, this guy's passionate about becoming a good first baseman, has put in a ton of work, is making adjustments, has retention, and really wants to be good over there.
Was there any convincing that had to be done, and say, hey, we want to sign you and have you play this position that you haven't played a whole heck of a lot?
Again, a better question for John. We had a very upfront conversation about what his opportunities were, and part of the reason we think he signed with us was the fact that we were essentially guaranteeing him a first base spot. There's no fallback as a DH. There's no safety net here for him. And so that's good for him. It's good for us. He's motivated. He wants to come out and become a very good first baseman. And so I think it was a part of his motivation to come to us, was that he was going to get a legitimate chance to play first base.
Neal has said that this is as strong as he's felt physically, feels healthy.